Good morning, welcome back and welcome to another episode of Burnley's live stream series. Every week we're taking Burnley's Wonderkids to the top. Great to have a few of you waiting already this morning. Lovely to see the chat getting going before I'm even in. It's great to have you here and hopefully we're going to have a decent morning with no internet problems, loads of January transfer action and fingers crossed some good Premier League results as well. However, I do know that it's got the tendency to go wrong. We're only 8 points off the relegation zone, and we've got a lot of those rivals in and around us. So if it does get wrong, and we get drawn into the battle, I've got the new Smarties buttons at the ready to console myself. But either way, we'll hope it doesn't have to get to that. We are still only 10 points off the Europa League places, to be fair, and we've got European football to come after winter. So there's plenty to look forward to, and hopefully we'll be able to get going early on today. So let me quite quickly catch up with the chat. Tom, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed your holiday last week. L Gaming, my last stream for a bit because of school. Yeah, I see there's a lot of changes in patterns and ways people are going back. I am looking at doing some bonus streams at the weekend soon. So hopefully, definitely for FM21, I'll have a stream save that we do a couple of times a week. Even if it means reducing a video. And then fingers crossed, we'll be able to get going a bit more regularly. But it's good to have so many of you in. If you are looking forward to it, chuck a thumbs up on there. As always, we've got lots of football and other sports to talk about as well. And we've got plenty of other stuff to look forward to as well. Because there's been some sports that haven't often got mentioned in here that I want to talk about today. But firstly, we've got to head into this first game against Newcastle. It's the January transfer window. We did have one player come in that was pre-agreed a year or so ago. And that was Marco van der Huel. And I've probably pronounced that wrong as well. He's on a youth work permit at the moment though. And then also, if we go back in, we've got Jose Miguel Henares, who we signed for $4 million from Almeria. He's going to be our new fourth choice centre-half. A really good player moving forward. That means we can sell on Flauhaut if we need to. Because he's one of the three left that aren't homegrown and fit in this academy challenge. So he's probably going to be moving on. Henares, a natural replacement. And we're in pretty good shape now. I'm pretty happy with where we are. And I'll be interested to see what you guys think as well. Charlie, best bit of business so far in the Championship this summer. John Obi Mikel to Stoke. For me, I know we're in agreement with that. I should be jovial this morning and say Tyler Walker to Coventry, shouldn't I? Because for those who don't know, we did our Championship predictions over on the podcast yesterday. And I made a bit of a blunder. I sort of talked about Coventry going down because of a lack of goals. But I mixed up the people. I mixed up Jordi Huula and Tyler Walker and said Tyler Walker wasn't there anymore. But obviously he is. So that's part of the fun. We'll get there eventually. But otherwise, we're all good. I'm pretty happy with how it's going. And hopefully we'll be alright. Carl, yes, you agree. It's hard not to. Michael O'Neill is such a good manager. I think, if anything, yesterday's Northern Ireland game proves how good a job Michael O'Neill did with them. He did a great job with Stoke after they struggled under Nathan Jones, who's also proven he's a good manager as well. And there's lots of managers who struggled at Stoke in the Championship who are good managers, Gary Rowett being another. And he's then proven at Millwall that he's a good manager. So I think we've got to be fair and say that Michael O'Neill's exceptional. Carl, I predicted yesterday in the podcast predictions, I had them to come second. Charlie had them in the playoffs. So I'll be interested to see just how far they can go. But it's not just him. James Chester's a good signing. Morgan Fox at left back's a good signing. Stephen Fletcher, even as an off-the-bench striker, as a target man. Really good way to do it. L Gaming, England beat the Aussies in style twice. Yeah, so the first one was probably more dramatic, as we've got our first team out for Newcastle. You all know the drill by now. We've dropped Vaughan back into the right of midfield. But obviously the second one was live on the BBC, which is really great for us as cricket fans. To have England back on free TV is amazing. So the second one, it was just a class performance. Really classy. I saw a massive thread at the weekend about why Moeen Ali shouldn't be in the England team. And I just absolutely love that that's how it finished. With Moeen Ali hitting a six, taking all the pressure off, and then England walking over the line. So that was a really nice moment for me. As Moeen Ali's always been one of my favourites. I think he was underrated as a bowler in the test team for the skills he had. And hopefully that's the start of him coming back into form now. Carl, I think playoffs. Yeah, so Charlie agrees with you. He went for playoffs. I think he went for 5th place, if I remember rightly. But I think you're going to sneak second. Because there's so many teams that I think will do poorly this year. I know there's 5 weeks of the window to go, but in theory, with you doing your work early and having a good squad in place, you could have a 2-month head start on most teams. And that's pretty hard to come back from. And then other teams that have done really well in the window, I mean, the other ones that impressed me hugely are Sheffield Wednesday, but they're starting on -12. And they've got a couple of more injury-prone players. I thought Leon Lowry had just miskicked that, but it looks like it deflected. It was miles off target, but thankfully it did take a deflection on the way. Let me just catch up with the chat again down below, as we've got a corner in the box, and it's headed straight at the keeper. David Raya doing the job there. Brentford's keeper, of course, in real life. But yeah, it's been an interesting one. El Gaming Wrexham have their first friendly tonight. So obviously the non-league season doesn't start until the beginning of October, does it? But round the corner from me, Craig, who's been in these streams before, managing Crawley Green Reserves, they've got a friendly on Saturday. So I might be able to bring back matchday vlogs for the podcast, as I think we've got a penalty there. We're going to VAR. Richards was brought down. A penalty is given. I've no idea who's taking it. Bartle's taking it. His penalty taking rating's 9. Why is it Bartle? He steps up and he puts it in the corner, so no complaints. But that is very strange. I don't know why he was taking it. I forgot it was Tuesday again. Luckily I've seen it 9:15. Top, is the cat in? No, it's not. The cat is not in yet. The back door is open and so is the bedroom door. So to give you a little bit of context, we don't own a cat. We don't have a cat. But randomly the last 2 days, a cat turned up in our garden, strolled in the house with the back door open, and has been making itself very at home. It spent probably about 12 hours in each of the last 2 days in our house, so no idea where the owners are, but we're happy enough. It's a very nice cat. So it might gate crash the live stream today. I can't promise. We're 1-0 up at half time against Newcastle, but so far so good. It's not been the greatest performance, but we're doing a job. But yeah, I can't lie to you. From the Championship, I'm really excited about Stoke this year. There are other bits of good business though, Charlie. I'd be interested to know what yours is, because there are a few good deals in there. I know you quite like the Hugo to Norwich one alongside Pookie, but for me, I don't know about Norwich. I really don't know. I think they'll get going, but it's confidence. When can they end that winless run? As the ball goes into Taylor, Bonner hacks clear. We've got a chance for 2 here as Lowry's breaking away. Down the line, he's gone over the top instead. Vaughan picks it up. Can he get a goal? He can't. He desperately needs a return to form, Jack Vaughan. And he just can't. So a cat just walks in at random times. Yes. That's exactly what happens. We just had a cat randomly stroll in the house. It's been having a great time. And yeah, we've half adopted a cat by the looks of it. Charlie enjoyed the Cliftonville save. Thank you very much for that. I was going to wait till a few more people were in just to say a massive thank you, really, because the numbers, the likes, the watch time on that, the first 2 episodes of that, and to be fair, the Macclesfield save before have been ridiculous. For my channel, with the amount of subscribers I have, and at this time of the FM cycle, it's bordering on insanity. So thank you all for coming along. Cliftonville will continue today, of course, 4:30 this afternoon, as we've scored again with Phil Richards. I'd argue Raya should have done better with that. And then we'll go and make our changes once this celebration's over. But yeah, Cliftonville back today and Thursday at 4:30. Saturday the same time. And then if the Macclesfield save ends on Saturday, it'll be back on Sunday at 1. And we'll be able to go up to 4 episodes a week. I'm really enjoying the Cliftonville one. I've recorded about a season off camera. And I'm really getting going. I'm enjoying it immensely. So let's get Bartle off. He's going to be replaced by Matas. What else can we do? Jack Vaughan got an assist. That's good for him. We'll keep him on for confidence. We'll bring Garner. No, Fabio on at right back for Bonner. And is there anything else we can do? Balogun's back to fitness. So he's on for Lowry up front. Job done. 2-0. And hopefully we can't throw it away from there. Let me just catch up with the messages again. Newcastle are making a business with some of their signings. Also, what's the news on the food channel? So let's do Newcastle first. Agreed on Newcastle. Fraser Wilson, Almiron looks decent. The link with Holding as well. Yeah, Jamal Lewis from Norwich, you're right there, El Gaming. Good window. What I didn't understand is all I saw as Edmonds makes it 3. All I saw was people moaning about Steve Bruce. Moaning about the fact that Callum Wilson had chose to play under Steve Bruce, moaning about the fact that he wasn't signing the right people, playing the wrong football, that Rafa didn't get money to spend. And Steve Bruce is doing a brilliant job. He did brilliantly last year. If Rafa had done what he'd done, he'd be the greatest thing in the world. It would have been probably his best ever season. And I just don't understand, as we make it 4 with Sunday Balogun, why he's getting such a bad rap. He's a Newcastle fan. He's doing the best he can, and I think he's going to be absolutely brilliant. I really think Newcastle this season have got an outside shot of the Europa League. Jamal Lewis and Danny Rose fighting it out at left back. Is Danny Rose staying? I think it looks like he was, but we'll wait and see. Was he even on an 18-month loan? I'm not quite sure. But Jamal Lewis, a left back, really good player, can play on the wing as well. They've just got good options all over the pitch. If they can get Rob Holding in, that would do well for them as well. And attacking-wise, which is where they needed to improve, as you said, they've brought in 2 or 3 really good players. And you say about Almiron, Tom, you've forgotten Maximan as well. He's a brilliant player. So hopefully, that'll move forward as well. News on the food channel, it's all coming into process now. So I'm just kind of gathering stocks from different supermarkets and things. Good morning, Craig, as well. I'm just gathering different stock from supermarkets. We're getting different deliveries scheduled every couple of weeks as our sort of main shop. And hopefully, with the logo sorted, the sort of channel page ready but not publicised yet, I should be able to go by the time FM21's out. And I'd like to have most of it pre-recorded. A quick thank you to everyone coming in. Great to see so many of you here. If you haven't yet, please do chuck a thumbs up on the video. I really do appreciate it, and it does make a difference. We got curry talk. Let's have a look at this. A friend of mine bought round a veggie curry for us last night, but they also gave us Uncle Ben's rice. I'm not being ungrateful, but is that okay? Oh, well, I'm going to be bold here, Charlie. I am not a fan of Uncle Ben's rice. So you can get away with ready-made rice, microwave rice, because I found the solution. But Uncle Ben's is not the solution. So the one you want to look out for, Charlie, is VT. So they do sticky jasmine rice, which you can put with your Thai or your Chinese type dishes. And they do basmati rice, where you can get them in a double pack or you can get them in 2 singles together. And that means that you can then have a 1 or 2 portion and you have got a perfect accompaniment for any dish. And it feels more authentic than the Uncle Ben's, which is just sort of a bit of a plain one-size-fits-all. And the thing that annoys me with the Uncle Ben's, the pots, the microwave pots aren't great. And the big pouches is too big a portion. And that's where all the flavours are. So VT's the way forward for me, mate. And I would happily recommend that to anyone. Same price as well, if anything slightly less. But yeah, if you're going to make a homemade curry, I don't think you can make the rice because it's not the sort of thing that sits well, to be fair. But you've got to give a good microwavable brand, not just a popular one. Chickpeas or what? Yeah, Charlie, I'm interested. Chickpea, potato, pure veggies. What are we talking? Craig, Tyler Walker to Coventry confirmed. See, you've already missed the chat about that. You've already missed that. I've informed everyone of what's happened there. Geordie Huula, of course, the man I meant to talk about. But there we go. It's getting views, and controversy creates cash, apparently. Was the Discord link I sent you okay? So I clicked it on the Saturday and the Sunday, and it both said the link had expired. So I don't know, because initially your comment, because it had a link in it, went into the held for review on YouTube. So I didn't see it till the Saturday when I was going through, and it said that it expired. So I don't know if that's something I'm doing or something that just because of the delay. I thought you meant ice cream, Ben and Jerry's. We have an Indian family who live close to us and always smell the curry smells. There is no better thing. And thankfully in Luton it happens a lot because we have a high population from the subcontinent. When you walk past the home of people from India, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Pakistan, or even just the takeaway houses as well, which we've got loads of in Luton. When you walk past them, the smell is possibly the greatest part of the day. It's incredible. And you just wish you could go and knock on the door and say, can I have some of that? Because honestly, the aromas you get are incredible. Always one of my favourite things. Yeah, so the links, they just expire quickly. It's my fault partly. I'll check out because I didn't know that they come in the held for review on YouTube. So that was all. We're heading away to Brentford next in here. I mean, it's basically, we're a little bit behind here in terms of Football Manager. It's become a bit of a byproduct of this. We might just do random live streams and have a Q&A at some point because we just end up talking food and football anyway. Let's have a look. Has Saucy Samosas survived COVID? So it has survived, Tom. It's back in September. He was doing a bit of home delivery from wherever he was before. But yeah, he's back in September. And I've got a week off in a couple. So I'm hoping that I'll be able to go back and test the water. I think we've got Burnley v West Ham in the FA Cup. Yep, so West Ham got through their replay. That's going to be a difficult test with a backup side. ML Gaming, if you're happy to resend a link, that would be lovely. Yes, please. Also, the cricket balls, I knocked over tennis balls. They were playing cricket. Absolutely, it's a great thing to have in the garden. A tennis ball's very versatile. If I remember rightly, and Tom might be able to vouch for this, I'm pretty sure most of our Hillborough Junior School years on the playground, we were using a tennis ball as a football if we weren't. Back then we didn't have the footballs regularly. So tell me if I've remembered that incorrectly, but I'm pretty sure that was the case. Of course, you might wonder why I'm not accepting some of these loans for the backup players. But because they were signed at 18, they need to be here the whole 3 years to be eligible. Homegrown, that is, sorry. Where would you like to send it? If you can do it in the comments to any video, whichever you prefer. Tom, I am right with the tennis ball. Yeah, see, I knew it was a tennis ball. And we obviously played tennis with it occasionally as well. Once we went off to the tennis club. And then we still play tennis occasionally now when me and Tom meet up. I've got a serve and nothing else. Yeah, I'm glad chickpeas. Charlie. Chickpeas the best vegetable curry. And again, Saucy Samosa in town, he knocks out a beautiful chickpea curry. Not as good as the chicken one, but if you want to mix it up and be veggie for a day, that's the one to sort you out. And his chickpea one has big chunks of potato in as well, so he does best of both worlds. Tom, Jordan Patrick mesmerising with a tennis ball, yeah. In the Luton team by 16. It's such a shame the attitude thing got him, because he had so much talent and physicality, that kid. He grew a lot quicker than the rest as well, which helped him. But even then, I'd argue he played for Luton and he wasn't the most talented kid in our school. So, Game in the comments of this live video when it finishes. Perfect. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Talking of tennis, Charlie, I wondered how long before that cropped up. Djokovic hitting the line judge. What was that about? Good segue indeed, Craig. Yeah. Well, look, it was something similar to what happened with Nalbandian at Queen's Club. It wasn't about the tennis ball. He kicked one of the advertising hoardings in frustration. And it just moved. It basically disintegrated. And he ended up kicking the line judge on the leg. And the same with Djokovic. I know there's a lot of people saying it's harsh. He didn't mean it. Well, of course he didn't mean to hit them in the face. But what on earth's he doing hitting the ball away in frustration? There was no need there. If it wasn't going to hit the line judge, there was a good chance it was going to hit a ball boy, ball girl line judge. So, in my argument, it's complete negligence and it's stupidity. I mean, what on earth's he doing? I mean, I know there's got to be a lot of things whirling in his head because he had that disaster where he got COVID from the tournament he'd organised and refused to do any social distancing because the country told him it was all right that they were playing in. He's then obviously had this breakaway players union he's trying to create, which Federer and Nadal have been very against, two of the biggest names the sport's ever seen. So it's a little bit bizarre what's going on at the moment there. I'm not quite sure what's happening with Djokovic, but either way, each to their own. Someone else is going to get the chance to win it, so we'll see how they pan out. Let me just have a look at the lineup for today. I think we're going to go similar again. Is anyone else back from injury? We have got... I'm trying to remember who's normally on the bench. I don't think the usual suspects are back. So Garner will stay on the bench and we will get into this game. It's Ruthven who's away at the international tournament. So Brentford v Burnley, same 11, same 18, and fingers crossed same outcome. Yeah, so you've seen it in the news. You're not sure what's happened. He turned away. He picked up a couple of balls from the ball kid like you would normally. He took one out of his pocket. He hit it away in frustration. And instead of going... I mean, he hit it in a way where it was going to hit someone or it was going to hit the board at force. I don't quite know what he was doing because if he was giving it back to the ball kid, that's not a good excuse. If he's hitting it away in frustration, why are you hitting it at the side where there's going to be ball kids and line judges when there's an empty stand behind you? You know, aim at the stand. So I don't really understand that. It was just a bit of ignorance and stupidity. And of course he didn't mean to hit them in the face, but it is what it is. I don't know if there's any fans here. I'd like to talk a bit of Formula 1 as well. Because I don't often get to talk about it here. It's not something that many people are massive fans of now. Particularly younger people. As Jonathan Lecco's up front for Brentford. I didn't notice that. Oh, Charlie and Craig, that'll cheer you up. Oh, he's offside. We're going to VAR. Jonathan Lecco, after a minute, nearly put us in the bad books there. That was unfortunate. Nearly swore there as well. What a start to the morning. But yeah, the F1 race at the weekend, absolutely incredible. Penalties, red flags, safety cars, and then the most unusual podium you'll see in probably a decade in F1. Absolutely incredible. Really enjoyed it. So if any F1 fans there, how did you find that race? Back to the goalkeeper, Gerardo. Brentford have started quite well here. They look really assured in possession. Jonathan Lecco looks a massive threat. And he's put another one wide there. I'm going to have to watch out for him. I like it a bit. Don't really watch it. Yeah, Hamilton normally always wins. And that's what was so remarkable about the weekend. And he fought his way back through and made some entertainment as well. But the front three, it was a very remarkable race. Jonathan Lecco, legend. Yeah, you saw the crash. Charles Leclerc went heavy into the barrier at the weekend. Wopos, good to see you along again. Love Formula 1. Probably the one sport I love as much as football. Good morning. Good to have you along. Yeah, I love Formula 1. It's been a bit disheartening the last few years because it's gone down a route it didn't need to. I think the changes that have been pre-agreed, should they be stuck to, and the big boys don't get their way if they throw the toys out the pram, I think 2022 could be really exciting for F1. But we'll wait and see. Now, I had thought about doing an F1 save on the channel before. After 3 years, I've just got through F1 2017, my first season at full race length. So, it's taken me a while, but it is a sport I really enjoy. As Brentford have taken the lead, I don't really know how to react. They've been the better side so far. We've not played well. We don't deserve to be ahead, and we don't really deserve to be level. So, we can't argue with it. But that's how we are at the moment. Top 5 sports, good question. Let me just answer the chat quickly. So also on the server, I added some bots and learned some stuff myself. How do you want me to do? To be honest, I don't really know because I haven't looked at it much. I think the idea is I'll click the link, I'll have a look at the link, see how it works, and then probably ask a number of questions in next week's stream based on that. I can see that's the most argument, or in the comments afterwards if you're not going to be here, because we might have a weekend one. Top 5 sports. So we've got a couple in already. L-Game, in my top 5, cricket, football, tennis, Formula 1 and darts. So I definitely wouldn't have darts in there. Other than that, the other 4 will probably feature in mine. I've never really been a big darts fan. I guess, to be fair, it's partly because the darts has always been on Sky Sports near enough, or the main darts, and I've very rarely had Sky Sports in my life, so that sort of does have an influence as well. I'm not a big rugby fan. I quite like golf. I think darts replaces snooker in mine, to be honest. I don't know what order exactly, as we equalise with Jack Vaughan, who finally ends his bad run. So yeah, top 5, let's go for football number 1, tennis 2. But then that's in terms of playing. Tennis is probably my favourite sport to play because I'm the best at it in comparison to others. But in terms of watching, it would be football, cricket, F1, snooker, tennis. In terms of playing, it would probably be, well, F1 wouldn't be there. Tennis, football, snooker, cricket. Don't know. It's tough, but the top 5 are set in stone. Just snooker replacing darts in mine. Any other games planned for the channel that isn't FM? So yeah, I have flirted with the idea before. Obviously, we've had snooker and cricket in the past. There will be a cricket game next year, so I'll get that out when it comes out. If snooker does as well, then I'll go for a snooker game. F1's something I thought about, but it takes such a long time and a lot of effort. As Jack Vaughan scored again, but I think he's off. The flag's up and it will be ruled out. I'm trying to think of other sports that I haven't had. There was a tennis game, but it wasn't great, to be honest. Definitely not FIFA this year. I've not really been excited by it, sorry. The same as PES. They're just doing more of a transfer update, aren't they? So, yeah, not for me. Probably not in the next few months. But long term, definitely yes. PES 2, Craig, that's a good shout. But I think it's still at Charlie's house from pre-lockdown. Whoppers, I hope 22 will be good indeed with the new rules. But every time they change the rules, they say it's for the better. That's true, but the problem is when they agree to change the rules and when they actually get changed, between then the big boys have normally thrown their toys out, got their way with the money, and it caused a bit of trouble. Whoppers, my top 5 sports, I can see you're throwing a curveball in there. Football, F1, snooker, tennis, speed skating. Now I need to know where that's come from. Where did the love of speed skating come from, or the enjoyment of it? And not a cricket fan. Probably one of the few on here actually. Tom, talking of F1, are you ever going to learn to drive? At this point, it's laziness. There's no need, really. I work 3 minutes from my house. I also, hopefully, will part-time work from here in the future on this channel. And I don't know. Everything's very nearby. I don't really need to drive. So, for costs, while there's cheap rail cards and travel cards, etc., probably not. Yes, Charlie has confirmed PES 2 is still at yours. What was your Dutch? You kept that one quiet. I didn't know that. Good to have people from natives from other countries about. That's probably why. Yeah, that's fair enough. That's an easy enough answer. Charlie, you promise you haven't been playing it. I don't believe you at all. I reckon that Charlie has been playing PES 2 Master League all lockdown just so he can be... Well, me and Craig, when we did our podcast, we used to have the Friday night gatherings, and I'm sure we'll go back to them eventually, where we would have... we used to use it as an excuse to do a podcast, but basically we just spent 3 hours playing PES 2. And Charlie, remarkably, after 2 weeks of me leaving the game there, got considerably better all of a sudden. Craig, drive to the matchday vlogs. See, most of them you can get to on public transport for the same price. For the amount of insurance and stuff it costs, it's not really worth it for me at the moment. I'm sure one day it will be, but at the moment it's not. Leon Lowry's on his way through. He's gone one-on-one. He's got a score. Oh, that's brilliant. That is sublime from Leon Lowry. Quarter of the game to go. We need that. Carl, so yeah, that's the thing, is this sort of lockdown, and the way the world's gone this year, it's just sort of shown that you don't really need a car as much as you think you do. I get it's convenient on the odd days when you're waiting for the bus for ages or the train's running late or cancelled, but they're few and far between. I mean, there's nowhere I've really, really struggled to get to on public transport. And even like to go to Leeds and things from Stevenage, it's quicker than going by car, so no problems for me, to be honest. Let's make these changes. Ashley Harrott will come on, Richards will drop into midfield. We've got to try and hold on to this lead, and we're on the front foot again. And hopefully Leon Lowry's goal will be the winner. If you are new along, by the way, please do chuck a thumbs up on it if you haven't already. It's great to have so many of you here this morning, and it's great to have the chat so active. Every week it just gets more and more, to the stage where I can almost barely keep up, which is great. L Gaming, I forgot about skiing. I'll swap that with darts. Fair enough. Where's the skiing passion come from as well? Can I know that? As Harrott gets it in. Oh, is it the post and it's in for 2-2? That's not the Aaron Ramsey. It's another one now. But that's really disappointing. I'm really annoyed we've given that away. So let's ask for some passion. And firstly, make sure we don't lose it. 7 years since I passed my test and I've never driven since. My point in case. So, that's the thing. El Game, do you know I'm Welsh? I think I mentioned, yes, you did mention you're Welsh. And that was, actually, I'm going to mention, that's another thing from the Cliftonville save that really amazed me. I came in, had someone say greetings from Turkey, had someone come in watching from Finland. I mean, those sorts of things. I always get a little bit of a viewer base from the US and Australia, which you'd expect on YouTube. But to get the random ones, like the Finlands, I had quite a lot from Norway last year. I absolutely love that sort of thing. To see that people from all over the world and all over Europe coming to watch, that's incredible for me. I absolutely love it. It shows the power of FM as well, to be fair. As Leon Lowry's put it in. Oh, he slid that one in beautifully. Yes, the keeper was down. He went the wrong way for the other one, and it was blocked back to him, but he had to place that so precisely. And I think we're going to nick it. Let's drop to balance, because we've let in goals last 2 times. And I don't think we're going to be needing those Smarties buttons yet. So I mentioned at the start, when less of you are here, they're on standby. If we get drawn into a relegation button, the Smarties buttons will be out. Craig, oh sorry, no, I've missed a couple of chats there. Skiing, I went to ski in Italy with my dad. Love snowboarding, so that's where it came from. Really enjoyed it. Fair enough. I've got to be honest, the winter sports is something I've never really been able to get into. I quite like the curling. I quite enjoy watching that for some reason. It's quite therapeutic. I guess it's similarly paced to snooker or golf, isn't it? But yeah, otherwise, I've never really got into the winter sports. Bit of a regret, really. I should enjoy watching them. They're the sort of sports I would, particularly the skiing and the slalom, for example. Now, it's cleared away by Brentford. We could have wrapped it up there with a 4th, but it's not to be. Esports is not a real sport. Despite that being controversial with my channel, I completely agree, Craig. While I appreciate people watching here and I can see the value for it on YouTube, etc., there is no way that drone racing and people playing FIFA and whatever, in my opinion, should be on Sky Sports or BT Sport or whatever. I agree with that. Tom, you're disappointed no one's mentioned Kabaddi. I don't know enough about it, but from what I've seen, Kabaddi would be top 5 if I saw it regularly. But again, it's only on Sky, which is the problem. Craig, football, golf, F1, table tennis and athletics. So I'm going to ask, based on your generation, the table tennis, is that a college thing for you? Because all I remember is when we went to college, suddenly there were table tennis tables everywhere. So I'm really interested to know where your table tennis came from. Is it just school, college? Because in our generation, it was sort of dried up at school. But football, golf's certainly a solid contender. I'll be honest, I've lost love with athletics. I used to really enjoy it growing up. I was watching the British athletics at the weekend on the BBC. I do quite enjoy it. But I feel like a bit like cycling. You can't trust anyone anymore. And I find that really hard. And I know you should, but I can't trust it. You had one at home, fair enough. Charlie, Craig's immense at table tennis. It's a sport I'd love to be good at. Considering I'm quite above average at tennis. Table tennis, I'm very weak, to be honest. I'm sure I'd get good at it with time. I did write kabaddi at first and then changed it. Yeah, you should have stuck with kabaddi. If you put kabaddi in there instead of athletics, I'm very happy with your top 5. Because kabaddi is an underrated sport. I just wish there was more of it. ITV4 used to have the IPL cricket. I wish they took the Indian Kabaddi league because it's so good. But yeah, I'd love to watch more of that. Charlie, are the Smarties normal flavour or are they something random like mint or orange? No, so what they are, and I'll tell you what, I'll get one out later in the stream. They're chocolate buttons, basically. Sort of the middle of Smartie chocolate. And then in the middle, they've got normal Smarties or the mini Smarties packed in there. But the actual buttons themselves are just sort of thick. They're quite chunky. They're chocolate chunks, essentially. But they're the sort of chocolate you'd get in the middle of a Smartie. So, yeah. Good to get a little bit of food talk in there. But those new Smartie buttons, they are very good. And I tell you what, Charlie, next time we have one of our Friday night Pro Evolution soccer gatherings, which hopefully now, with things going as they are, won't be too long, I will make sure there are ample Smarties buttons there because our local Iceland has got plenty of them. Whoppers, I think if they want to broadcast esports on TV, there should be a special channel for it. Not on the main channels, I suppose. Also, I think FIFA esports is different than sim racing, for example. Yes, to an extent, because I know like the F1 channel over here, I don't know if it was the same everywhere else. They put a lot of emphasis. They got a lot of the real racing drivers to come and get involved. And then they had sportsmen as well. So you had like, I think Lando Norris was quite involved in it, and Albon and Leclerc all raced. They raced on the F1 game. And because it's an official F1 game, I guess they're plugging it as well, aren't they? But then they had the likes of Ben Stokes did a race. There were a couple of footballers in there. I'm sure there was a golfer in there at one point. I can't remember who, though. And they just had different people in. They had a couple of famous people and then a few gamers. And just matched it up a little bit, which was okay. But again, if they had a Sky Sports esports channel or a BT Sport esports or whatever, or just an esports channel, that's fine. For me, it puts me off getting a Sky Sports subscription or things like that because they basically replaced all their live coverage with esports when the lockdown happened. Transworld of Sport was a TV show. Craig, you are absolutely spot on there. Transworld Sport, yeah, definitely. And on free TV again. L Gaming, yeah, that sounds probably the better option. Yeah, I would say so. Because then I can just have a look at it and I can do a bit of trial and error, I guess. And I'm no doubt I'll have questions later on. But hopefully, if I can get it set up, a lot of people will just sort of probably help me along. Most people coming in will probably know more about it. Every time we mention food on this channel, I always fancy pizza for some reason. I mean, I guess I should apologise because you're not always going to have pizza in the house. But yeah, I get hungry from it. I've got to be honest. I really do get hungry from it. And I end up most weeks wanting a takeaway as a result. Normally I'm the only one off on Tuesday, but we've got other members of the household off today, so we'll probably cook. Oh, L Gaming, you have just fallen out with Craig Savage there. We'll get to that in a minute. Oh, this is going to be a big moment. Do you have a tradition? Yes, so Craig Savage, I mean, he ruined it earlier this year, which me and Charlie will never forgive him for. Craig went about 2.5, 3 years, am I right, Craig? Every Friday had a KFC. Not always a full meal or whatever, but had something from KFC, which was remarkable. And considering that he probably has the lowest BMI of anyone in the chat today, including myself, it's all the more unbelievable. But yeah, a bit of a bizarre one. And then L Gaming pops in and says, I've never had a KFC. Now, for me, it's overrated. It's not hugely great. We've got a local one, Chicken George, which is a national award winner and much better. But for you to say you've never had a KFC, you might be falling out with Craig, I'm afraid. L Gaming, I'm a veggie, that's why. Yeah, so they've got a new vegan meal, which I know a lot of people have talked about. But yeah, that is what it is. So hopefully, You can see a lot of the big ones now. Meals. Sorry, first or second option. Let me have a look. First option, please. If you leave it as empty as possible, then I'll just trial and error things on there and see what we can do with it. I'm hoping, after a couple of years of this, I've learned things I never knew technically before, so hopefully it will cover me a little bit. There are veggie options now, Craig. It wasn't until quite recently, to be fair, but there are now out there. Yeah, it's not, to me, it's not the greatest takeaway. It's probably one of my least favourite big chains. I mean, I'm not a massive McDonald's fan, but I'd rather have a McDonald's. Whenever I go to Stevenage and I'm waiting for the train to Leeds, when we used to do that regularly for Northern football matches, I'd always go to McDonald's over KFC. But even in terms of chicken, I'd rather go to like a Nando's. I'd rather go to a Five Guys. Not that we've got one in Luton anymore. So, yeah, a Pizza Express I'd rather have as well. I know it's a bit different. El Gaming, I'll leave it empty. Do you want me to get rid of the bots? I mean, it doesn't really matter with the bots if they're already there, because they can do anything. We'll take them out before it goes live, obviously. But, yeah, we can take them out. If they're in there, that doesn't matter. I guess it'll see if my tests work when I try things out. That's true. They can race. I've missed a Whoppers one day. Hang on, bear with me. That's true. They can race with the well-known people, but also with the pro gamers. I'm personally racing competitively as well online. It's a good alternative if you don't have money. Absolutely. Yeah, I can't disagree. It's the sort of thing that there seems to not be a balance between. There's a lot of people who say, what on earth is it doing on Sky Sports, BT Sport? They shouldn't be racing. No. Competitive racing on esports or whatever, no problem whatsoever. No problem with FIFA tournaments or whatever. Just let's have it on a dedicated channel so it's separated from the actual sport. That's all I'd say. I mean, they separate football and tennis and cricket and whatever else on channels. You'd have thought that they wouldn't then have virtual sports in there as well, but it is what it is. I don't think I've missed any other chats. Bear with me. I did one like... Oh, perfect. Yeah, that's absolutely brilliant. Yeah, never really fancied it. Nothing about KFC appeals to me. It's definitely, of the big options, one of my least favourites. Unfortunately, it is the closest to my house, but it is separated by a fish and chip shop just before. So I normally get waylaid there for a chicken balti pie. And they do some cracking kebabs in there as well. Right, we've got an injury to Bartle. I don't remember that one popping up. Although I've got to be honest, I don't think, because the chat's so active, I don't think I've ever paid less attention to the Football Manager side of things. So hopefully you'll forgive me for that. But we are just talking food, football, sport and everything today. Ross Marshall come in perhaps? Don't actually know. The squad's very weak after the 18. Vinicius maybe? I don't know. Let's have Marsh in so we've got a centre midfielder. Burnley v Leicester. Let's get going. Let Wii Sports have its own channel. Tom, secure every time you come to Leeds. Well, I'll tell you what, Tom. Secure most times, because with the takeaway, them salt and pepper chips, you can't get them down here. And I'll tell you what, Tom, you just seen Smith Rowe in the Leicester lineup here. But I'd quite like, next time I'm up, if we can get a table at Cat's Pyjamas. I'd be more in for that. I'm not so worried about Thai Savai, because Nacorn's better in my opinion down here. But yeah, Cat's Pyjamas is one I'm craving a little bit. The Peacock's Mango and Lime Cider. And it's probably the only alcoholic drink I actually like. And then, yeah, if we can go for a Sakura salt and pepper chips. I don't need to have them for a meal. The Sakura. I just need salt and pepper chips, that's all. Yeah, see, Charlie, as I said, I've... so the bots help. They like welcome people and you get bots to every time you make a video. But I don't know how to do that. It's alright. I'll learn as I go along. Chicken... You know what I'm like. When I started this channel, if you noticed, I was recording with a headset. I didn't have face cam. I was recording on a laptop, so the game was staggered. And 2 years later, we're here in HD with a webcam talking on live streams. So I'll hope that I can work it out. Fingers crossed. Let's have a look. Charlie, chicken tikka kebab meal at MasterChef, beautiful. See, as I've told you, I've recently changed local Indian takeaways. We've now gone over to Village Tandoori, which is a bit more local. It's a lot cheaper, as Phil Richards has given us the lead. It's a lot cheaper. I think the only difference is oil for ghee, to be honest. But otherwise, the flavour's more authentic, I would argue. So just the texture's a bit thinner, but absolutely love it. Really good. And the other thing, Charlie, I just wanted to say, we tried a Mediterranean grill a week or two ago. called Medi Kitchen. If you're in Luton, give it a try. It is incredible. Got a mixed platter for £2. It was ridiculous. They've got a vegan platter as well, so even when Tom's down, we can get it. Also, it's just a practice one. I want you to make it the main one. I don't mind because it could be both. Well, that's the thing. If we make it as the practice one, then if it works out well, we can turn it into a live one. That's not a problem. And hopefully, if it's set up for me, it's just a trial and error till FM21. And then we can get going and have hopefully a quite fruitful live chat, as well as weekly or bi-weekly live streams. Bi-weekly is the wrong word. I meant twice a week. I'm all over the place this morning. But I could always have it as a private chat section. Yeah, I don't really know. I'd be willing, a bit like this, I'd prefer to give the public chat a go, and then we'll have the private chat if there's too many people misbehaving on there, which I'm aware there can be. Unfortunately, Leicester are sinking without a trace here for them. We are having a lovely time. Jack 4 makes it 2. He's very much preferring to play out of position for some reason. We haven't done the National League ruling predictions yet, but I'm not ruling out Wrexham. They've signed really well. There was another one since the last live stream. Do you remember it was L Gaming? Since last Tuesday. I remember seeing one Wrexham signing again. Yes, because the National League season's not starting until the start of October. We'll leave it to the week before. So we've done all the EFL ones this week. And then we'll do that one. We'll do the Northern Irish League then as well. And the North and South. Who saw Soccer Aid Sunday night? Evra was ridiculous. Ridiculous, good or bad? Because the last I saw of Evra was about 2 weeks ago. He was playing for a non-league team in England, Step 7. Played in a pre-season friendly. But yeah, I've never really watched Soccer Aid, to be brutally honest. Too much Robbie Williams for my liking. As Matas gets the ball inside to Vinicius. Wasn't there one year where Boris Johnson turned up, and that was sort of the end of it for me. As Milenkovic puts it through to Leicester. They're 1-0 through. They're through to get one back. They don't. Wide of the post. Good save. And it remains 2-0. Charlie, what's the most expensive transfer fee you've ever paid in FM? That is a good question. I don't know. Really don't know. I mean, what will be close is this year's one, which was the 88 million I paid for Morgan Morale with Dorkin. There's probably been bigger fees paid, but they will have been in the head coach where I'm not in charge of them. So I think in terms of me paying directly, I'd reckon that 88 is close. But I will go back through the last 3 or 4 years and check out and give you the confirmation next week. As O'Connor picks it up on the left-hand side to Chowdhury. To O'Connor again. Leicester really starting to get on the front foot this half. Into the back post and just over the bar. We survive still. Yeah, Evra is class. He's still a good player, isn't he? He's only recently retired. I saw Gareth Barry smash Jeremy Lynch. That was on Twitter. I'm not sure. Yeah, I will have a look in a minute for who Wrexham signed. He did one for the Channel 5 England v Germany. What have I missed here? I've missed one out. I'm sure I've missed something out there, Craig, because I have no idea what you're on about there. Yeah, I mean, he's being marked by a comedian, which is a slight difference. But Evra, he was playing in non-league and he looked comfortable there as well. He was doing flicks and tricks. You haven't had a question for a while. You're absolutely right, actually. As Burnley score again, it is 3 now. We can wrap it up from the spot. And hopefully that is surely a position we can't lose from. Leon Lowry will be replaced by Sunday Balogun. Vinicius will be replaced by Harrott. And Mullen will go into midfield as well. So there's the 3 subs made. More youngsters on. And we're looking good so far, actually. 3 games in, and it looks like we're on for 3 wins. Thank you to everyone coming along as well. We've had so many here consistently this morning. Normally it picks up around 11 o'clock, but you've been here from the start. It's fantastic support. Please do put a thumbs up on the video if you haven't already. It does make such a difference to the stream and helps people find us. But otherwise, I couldn't be more grateful for how it's going. There's so many of you in here. And we're talking sport all morning. So it's delighted to have you about. What's the funniest haircut a footballer's ever had? So I'm sure the older lads will have a few more chats about the 90s there. I'm trying to think for me. That's a really good question, actually. It might be one to come back on. I really don't know off the top of my head. I mean, there's a couple of Luton players with awful ones at the moment. Harry Cornick had one towards the end of last year, which was bordering on diabolical. I laughed at Bales, yeah, that was pretty ridiculous, wasn't it? He played quite well, actually, for Wales. Kiefer Moore did a really good job in the first game. I watched that one, because obviously they're on S4C as well. So it's the only one we can watch for free from the Nations League. He played really well in that first game. I caught the first half of the second game as well, but I didn't see the goal. I'm just trying to see who Wrexham signed. Bear with me. Wrexham FC. Hopefully their website is easier to see. Is there anyone there? I don't think there is. I've got to say, L Gaming, not the best website in the world, if I'm being brilliantly honest. Let's have a look. No, I can't see anyone on there. Maybe I'm making it up then. The last one's are the 29th of August on there. But there's lots of good players about. Oh, we missed Jordan Davis last week from Brighton. That's a good player. Tom Lockyer, solid. Yeah, that was a reason for us to watch Wales as well, because obviously Luton have just signed Tom Lockyer, who started both games for them. Whoppers, check out Nathan Rutches, is that? Let's have a look. You'll have to forgive my pronunciation for any Dutch player. Oh, wow. Wow, you've nailed that one. That is, forget footballers, that is one of the worst haircuts I've seen. It's where the back bit starts. Why is it starting so low down? I don't understand. I think you might have won that game very early on there. As it is, we've won 3-0. A brilliant result for us, and we are flying back up the Premier League. And it's FA Cup action next. How much did Luton pay for Lockyer? Yeah, it's arguably rumoured to be free. Who was the other one? We got James Bree. That's the one where there's uncertainty. Some websites saying it's a record fee. Some of them saying it's a free. If Luton had paid a record fee, I'd imagine it would have been highlighted, because they'd want the fans to know that investment. So I'd argue it was either a nominal fee or free. Norrington Davis looked a really good player on loan as well. Yeah, it's not the best website, the Wrexham one, is it? Ronaldo in 02. Yeah, that's an awful haircut as well. Beckham's dreadlocks. Yeah, there's some good shouts. 2 good wins for Wales. Yeah, completely agree. I've got to be honest. I really didn't think Ryan Giggs would succeed at Wales, and he seems to be doing an okay job so far. You've got to consider in those 2 games, I know Bulgaria were heavily depleted, but he was missing a lot of his key players himself. The Joe Allens, Aaron Ramsey's missing out. At the back, they were short of options as well. It was interesting, to say the least. England T20 kit is nice. Let me have a look. The World Cup kit was still one of the best kits. The England World Cup kit was lovely. England T20 kit. Let's have a look. I completely forgot we spent most of last week talking about kits, didn't we? Yeah, I quite like that kit. I'll be honest, New Balance for cricket kits, always good. Almost always good. Do you think Luton will find it easier or suffer from second season syndrome? I think we'll find it more difficult because the difference with Carter Vickers in the team was remarkable. I'm optimistic that we've got sort of Nathan Jones style fullbacks back in. Norrington Davis looked really good at the weekends. I don't know. I really don't know. I think we'll probably struggle a little bit. In terms of our predictions when I was making them up for the championship, I had us sort of 20th, to be honest. So, same as last. I had us 19th last year, which we finished. And then 20th this year. So, we'll see how we get on. But yeah, I can't see us finishing above that, to be brutally honest. I think we're still going to struggle a little bit. We're still light. If James Collins gets injured, I don't know what we do. There was some weird link from a random Twitter page for us with Benica Phobe. I can't see that happening. El Gaming, thank you very much. Appreciate that. Yeah, I don't think you can put comments in until after the stream finishes and then it becomes available. Tom, I'll take 20th. Yeah, absolutely. If Luton finished 20th, if you're offering it now, I'll end the season. The thing that worries me, and probably will worry a lot of the clubs down there, is Sheffield Wednesday. Because while they're on -12, they have signed brilliantly. We all know what Izzy Brown can do if they keep him fit. They've got Josh Windass and Che Dunkley from Wigan, which they've nicked phenomenal fees. They had a couple of others in as well. Let me go back and check, because they had another really good signing. This is a problem. I'm getting old now. I've got the brain like a sieve. So let's have a look at their transfers. Apologies if you can hear the keyboard as well. Kachunga from Huddersfield, who did well for them. Deli Bashiru on loan from Manchester City. Izzy Brown obviously on loan from Chelsea. We mentioned the 2 Hull lads. The two Wigan lads, they're the 5. So they're their 5 so far. Really good signings. In terms of outs, they've let Morgan Fox go to Stoke. Stephen Fletcher's gone at 33, but they're going for a different style this season, I think. And Sam Hutchinson gone. So a lot of the older Deadwood really. Forestieri at last, Sam Winnell. All older players, 29, 30. So I quite like what they're doing in the window. It's just that they're on -12, or I might have tipped them for the playoffs. El Gaming, you reckon Luton will finish 20th? Again, happily take it. Every single week we'll take that. Anyone else got big predictions for the Championship? I mean, the ones I went for, I got in a lot of trouble for saying Coventry would go down, but they won the Championship playing really well, but they scored the 9th most goals. They relied on a solid defence. And at Championship level, that's a tough world to go in. I mean, that's sort of what Charlton did last year, and that didn't work out for them either. Do you reckon Wigan can avoid relegation in League One after all the drama? So in the predictions on the podcast, I put them to finish bottom because I can't see an end in sight with the owner situation. If they get a good owner and they keep increasing the squad, then yes, I agree that with Craig and Charlie that they'll stay up. But as it stands at the moment, I've had to go for them bottom because there doesn't seem to be an end in sight. The players they're signing are sort of people coming back to help them out who are either past their prime, who are running back down the leagues. So Callum McManaman, who was at Luton last year, looks like he's going to sign there. Gary Roberts just has. So they have signed a couple of good players since those predictions. But I still worry about off the pitch, which in truth is more important than whether they survive or not this year. But yeah, we'll all take 20th. From the Championship, I have Barnsley definitely to go down. Because, let's be honest, I said this in the prediction show last night. If they don't have Hull and Charlton in disarray off the pitch, and they don't have Wigan getting a points deduction, they'd finish bottom last year. And I know Luton would have probably gone down in 22nd then as well, but Barnsley relied on all 3 of them to stay up, and that's not healthy. They haven't improved enough that I would predict them to stay up then, so that's my opinion on it. But let me know what you think. Thank you to everyone coming along again. We're approaching the hour mark. I think we've only had the 3 games this morning because we've been talking so much off camera. But we have had the 3 games, 3 victories, and we're flying in the Premier League. We'll try and get through 3 more. I know there's a 2-week break between one. And I don't know if there'll be an FA Cup tie there. But I'd like to get to the start of Red Star. So that's our first game tomorrow. Next week, sorry. West Ham v Burnley in the FA Cup. So we've got a week off after, haven't we? So what I'm going to do, instead of worrying about transfers, I'm going to play the first team here. I would take Marsh off the bench, but there's nowhere to go. The only thing I'm going to change is Grondona, the cup goalkeeper. Have we got any other options? Matas is back in midfield anyway. Can Balogun have a game up front? I think Leon Lowry's as good now. And to be honest, Balogun we might well sell. He's unhappy, he's wanted. Inter Milan want him, and he's one of the 3 that's not homegrown. So we have to let him go. The same as Flauhaut, who's wanted by Madrid. Owen Edmonds is struggling physically, so let's give him a rest. McNeil on for him. And then we'll bring Vinicius onto the bench. At the back, everyone's match fit, so that's fine. In midfield, Richards is a bit tired, so we'll bring on Ashley Harrott. That's it done. A couple of changes, but otherwise, pretty much the same. Okay, and also, the reason the link might not have worked as well, do you have Discord on your computer that you opened it up on? Yes. I'll double check today, because there is every chance it was me. And I reckon Bournemouth will go straight back up. Interesting you say that. I really don't think Bournemouth will go up. I actually had them in the outskirts of my relegation battle. They've got Graham Jones in as a coach, who was obviously the Luton manager last year. Jason Tyndall's taken over from Howe, and they're both people who I wouldn't necessarily associate with man management, to be honest. So they're the 2. But Bournemouth, they're losing players galore as well, don't forget. Callum Wilson's gone. It looks like Josh King's not going to be far behind. Fraser went, Ryan Fraser. Nearly called him Gary Fraser there. And I don't know if they've bought much back in. Let me go and have a look. But yeah, I was a little bit worried about Bournemouth. Of the 3 relegated clubs, Harry Hart has come back from loan. Begovic, is Asmir Begovic still there after loan? I doubt either of them will be there. They're linked with getting Matt Ritchie back. Nathan Ake went as well, obviously. Aaron Ramsdale's gone. Yeah, there's a lot going on there. But even the experienced ones, Charlie Daniels, Jordan Ibe went on a free. Simon Francis, Andrew Sermon, Brad Smith, Harry Wilson's loan ended. Matt Butcher to Accrington, we've had him in FM with Torquay in 19. Artur Boric gone to Legia Warsaw, he played in a European qualifier. I really don't know about Bournemouth, that looks worrying for me. Probably more worrying than I had them. I might have actually tipped them for relegation if I'd seen that. That really does concern me. I think Watford will as well. Yeah, I had Watford to go up because as much as I don't like to say it as a Luton fan, on paper they've got the best squad. The signs are good early with the manager. It just relies on off the pitch again. If the chairman gets hasty and sacks them after 2 defeats again, then, you know, in a championship you are going to lose 2 games at some point. So they've got to give them a little bit of leeway. But if they do, I think they'll come straight back up. They've got a good squad. They've not lost as many. And they've brought in Glenn Murray, who will score goals off the bench galore. Carl, plenty of money to spend though. Yeah, and that's the hard thing, predicting with the season starting over a month before the window closes, is you don't know how that money will get reinvested. But with Bournemouth, don't forget, they're not making a lot of money out of the ground. So they're relying so heavily on the Premier League money. And I know they've got Parachute for the next couple of years. But all of that stuff will go down if fans aren't back in soon. Have Watford lost anyone like Sari Doucouré? So Doucouré, it looks like, is on the verge of leaving. As we've reached 2/3 here at this West Ham Cup tie, and it's still 0-0. So let me just make some changes quickly. Richards back on, Balogun on, and Vaughan's not had the best game, but we don't need to replace him yet. Bonner will be replaced by Garner, as he's on a yellow card. Otherwise, if we have a look at the stats, we're dominant. So let's just push the lads forward. We'll demand more for the last 15 and see if we get anything out of it. So let's have a look at the Watford transfers. They have... I'd imagine Sarr would go, wouldn't he, if he hasn't. So departures, not really lost anyone big so far. Glenn Murray's come in. That's about it. They've got a young right back in from West Ham, and they've sold their previous backup to Granada. We all know about the deal they have with them. Holobas has left to Olympiacos on a free. That's pretty much it from the first team, and Aurelio Gomez and Adrian Mariappa have left. Stippy Parika's joined. He used to be a Football Manager Wonderkid. He's come in from Udinese. I think that's another one of the clubs they've got shares in, isn't it? I'm sure it's Udinese, Granada, Watford. But yeah, they've got good signings up front. I think it looks like Troy Deeney's going to go, doesn't it? So we'll see what happens with him. But Glenn Murray's an able replacement. Phone's on 1%. I hope the charger's handy. Let's go and please praise the lads for a good performance and result in the Cup. Will James be a success at Everton? Good question. I really don't know. I think he probably will, because with Alan joining as well, it looks like they're going for a different style tactic. And Ancelotti used to play 4-4-2, so I'm not quite sure about that. But James Rodriguez in. Alan in is probably the better signing of the two, if I'm being honest. They've got John Joe Kenny back from loan at Schalke, who I reckon will get a chance at right back this year. And obviously Morgan Schneiderlin's gone to Nice. Stekelenburg's left. Umar Nias without a club. Luke Garbett. Leighton Baines retired. Sidibe, end of loan to Monaco. And Cuco Martina. Actually, all this is showing me there is a lot of players that are good on a free transfer deal. So maybe that's why clubs aren't panicking so much. They can get in squad players later in the window. So, fingers crossed that will happen. Certainly for the EFL clubs, it makes predictions very difficult. But for the National League clubs starting in October, that could be crucial. So we've got transfer deadline day coming up. And then Bournemouth next on here. Bournemouth, I think, if I remember rightly, we're near the bottom. Oh, we've got a player with 5-star potential who's under 18. Oh, we might be making a signing. Derek Barr from Motherwell. Let's make an inquiry for him. We might have a sign-in just yet. Charlie, Bournemouth beat West Ham in a friendly 5-3 yesterday. Don't base anything on a friendly, honestly. It's not worth it at all. We only beat Stevenage 1-0. You know, it doesn't matter. Bournemouth will still struggle in the Championship. West Ham, there's a lot going on there, isn't there? We haven't really talked about that. the manager and the captain coming out and publicly criticising the sale of a star young player and saying that they didn't agree to it is very, very strange. No worries, El Gaming. Appreciate you coming along. But yeah, the West Ham situation off the pitch is ugly. And if I was doing Premier League predictions, I would be factoring that in, to be completely honest. It's a little bit of a strange one. I've just got a pop-up for an EFL premiere with Colin Murray and Gareth Ainsworth in half an hour. So we'll see if we can match that. No one wants to sell Derek Barr. We're going to have to find a way. Whenever do you see a 17-year-old with a model citizen personality as well? So let's make an offer. He's worth 50 grand. So if we go $1 million, hopefully they can't say anything negative then. Oh, 22.5. That is pushing it. Let's go 5. Remains unacceptable. So I'm going to have to go big now. I'm trying to work out. It's normally halfway, isn't it? So 1 million to 22.5. That would be 11.5. So let's go for 12 just to be safe. And we'll make that offer. It's massive money, but we don't sign any big players, so it doesn't matter too much. I'll take 20th. Oh, yeah, Luke. Oh, there's loads of chat since there, El Gaming. So I think your phone's got caught up. But yeah, the chat's very active since then. Tom agreed with you. He'll take 20th as well. Yeah, the chat's very active today. I can't thank you all enough for getting involved. If you haven't yet, chuck a thumbs up on as well. It does make such a difference, as there is plenty of football to look forward to. I'm aware next week the football chat will be mad because the EFL season would have started, as would the Premier League season. So I think it's Fulham Arsenal, the first lunchtime on TV. But I won't be watching that. I will be watching the first half of the FA Cup tie, which is Stocksbridge Park Steels versus... And I've lost the second team, hang on. On BBC Red Button, it is Stocksbridge Park Steels v Stalybridge Celtic. And then I'll be leaving that at about 60 minutes to go and watch Craig's game at Crawley Green Reserves, hopefully. Fingers crossed for me, that will then be a good opportunity to do a matchday vlog. And if Charlie's about, he can pop along. Take a stroll up the road if he wants to join in. But I understand he might be a couple more weeks yet. But it will be good to have matchday vlogs back in some capacity. We're flying through the transfer window quite quickly here. Normally January moves a lot slower than this. So the fact we're not doing much is helpful. I know Ruffin's out, which doesn't help. We've got the FA Cup draw coming up as well. Of course, there's no guarantee we'll get through. The Bar offer has been accepted. So he wants to be a breakthrough prospect, then a fringe player, then a squad player. Dooznip suggesting an offer. He's a UK-based player, so we don't need to worry about the 8 grand a week. But I am going to play it safe regardless. So none of those increases. Not that one. And other than that, we're happy. Oh, he wants 4.5. That's not a problem. We'll agree to that. So Derek Barr, the right back, is likely to be the addition at the end of this window. Yeah, it might just be because of the 1%. Saka will have won his first man of the match award of many. What, against Fulham? Are you saying that away from home? I think that's going to be a really close game. And that's the problem. You just don't know what to predict. I think Arteta's Arsenal, give him one more season. Just give him a little bit of leeway this year. Even if he can win a Carabao Cup or something, he's done his trick. I think he'll go quite heavy in the Europa League. And if we get through, we've got Manchester City in the FA Cup, so we're not winning that. Yeah, so give him another year, but I think otherwise he'll build a really good side. No news on Aubameyang, though. That's the bit that's got to worry you. And that's the other news. The year there's no fans in the stadium. If we get through in the League Cup, Luton in real life against Reading, we've got Manchester United at home. So frustrating. I'm going to stick with this, actually. I'm just trying to think. Sorry, I've just gone into a thought process. I'm trying to think if I've ever watched Manchester United play live in the flesh. I really don't know if I have. I'm sure someone might be able to prove me wrong, but I don't think I have. But anyway, back to Football Manager. We're coming back towards the end of the window. El Gaming, see you in 5. Thanks for popping in. We've got to get to the end of the window and think quite carefully here, because we've got one signing potentially being done. Do I get a big offer for either of those guys? We've got Vinicius Xavier, who no one's interested in. But they're the only 3 who we've got to get rid of to make this a purely homegrown squad. I know it weakens us, but it makes the challenge work, which is what we're going for. I've been in an efficient mood this morning as well. I've already edited 2 videos. Thursday's Cliftonville and Saturday's Macclesfield. So I'm flying ahead at the moment. There's so much to come this week. I can't thank you all for your support with Cliftonville. The Macclesfield save's been getting great numbers as well, but the new Cliftonville one went absolutely nuts. It went far better than I could have imagined, so I can't thank you for your support enough. The podcast is starting to pick up again. Everything's going mad. I mean, it's a great time for the channels. Really is. And let me know for FM21. I mean, it's probably the only question I would ask to you guys as viewers. Is would you rather have extra video series or more live streams? Because it's very hard for me to judge from having you guys in each week which one would go down better, really. I know with the videos, short-term series is not so much of an issue, but with another long-term series, you obviously end up spending a lot of time editing rather than interacting or playing the game. And that's not a problem, because at the moment, it's where a large share of the income for the channel's coming. As little as it is, to be honest, it's £10 to £12 a month. But in the grand scheme of things, that will grow as the new series comes along and we keep growing. Or would you rather have more live streams? Because potentially that's a far better way to do it. It allows me to interact live. It allows me to talk to people as we go along. And if we're doing them more regularly, we can do slightly shorter, snappier ones at more inconvenient times. So for me, I can do ones in the evening then, because I know I've only got to do an hour, for example. So let me know what you think of that. I'll be interested to get your thoughts. As we reach transfer deadline day, we'll take part because you've got to, haven't you? Sunday Balligan's picked up a knock. It's only 1 to 3 days, but I worry that will put people off offers. And in Europe, for all that interest, they always wanted those guys, but we never really see an offer for them. And that makes it a little bit harder for me to keep up. So let me know what you think. It's going to be interesting. As we move through deadline day, Derek Barr is joining the club, the 17-year-old. Neil Etheridge completes a coaching qualification. We're good to see that. We always like a good coach. And it's very important when you're doing a save like this. So Derek Barr is signing. Oh, it doesn't go through till he's 18. So it will go through at the end of the season. So no Derek Barr for the rest of this year. But it is what it is. Fantastic stuff so far, though. And no big offers. The only ones we're getting are for players who are homegrown. What are you doing? Oh, no. We can't lose Phil Richards. Oh, it's met his release clause. Oh, I didn't even realise. This is going to be a big mistake. He's in wonderful form. Look at his Premier League form there, the average rating. We have to keep him. We have to keep him. He's going to be a star player. He's going to be whatever we want him to be. There you go. 49.5 grand a week. Minimum fee release of 52 million, sorry. And there we go. Whatever he wants, he can have. And I just hope he'll stay. He's going to be one of the best players at the club now. He's improved so quickly. Wapos, personally, I prefer streams, but you need to make sure people can be there to watch it. I enjoy the interaction a lot more. Yeah, I've got to say that. So the first couple of this series, perhaps, there were 1 or 2 weeks where there were only sort of 2 or 3 people watching, and that does make it difficult. I mean, I guess I'm more confident in the fact that they've grown really quickly. Even at probably the lowest points of the stream, there's only really 6 people here or 7 people here, and normally we've got 8 to 10 and lots of people involved in the chat and whatever. So I'm probably at the stage where I feel a bit more confident doing both. I do have to potentially think from a revenue point of view as well. Phil Richards, you absolute hero. You've signed a new deal. You've rejected the other clubs. Now 4-star ability, he's a superstar. At 20, is he England international in the making? Owen Edmonds isn't going either, so I'm really pleased with that. So yeah, I appreciate the feedback. I really don't know which one's the best, to be honest. I might trial a bit of both. And obviously you have to bear in mind if you then do a stream series, it's more interrupted over sort of Christmas and holiday periods or when you're going away, because for video saves you can just record in advance. So that's, yeah, there's a lot of things to factor in there, I guess. So yeah, I'm not quite sure. We're going through deadline day still. Jeremy Dixon, he's 18 years of age. 1.5 ability, 4-star potential. His determination's not really improving, but everything else is. So there's plenty of positives there as well. We're delighted Phil Richards is staying longer. And we just need to make sure, with that Derek Barr deal over the line, if we get an offer for one of the big 2, we accept it. So, 24-year-old Milan goalkeeper. I mean, I'd love to sign him, but unfortunately, I don't know where that story's come from. transfer deadline rumours. They've got the media spot on FM. It's just that they're not waiting outside and a bit more impatient with it. Let's see if there's any more news. We've got to 5 o'clock and there's no offers for the two big players. I really don't understand why they're not coming along. El Gaming, you're back. Thanks for coming back in. Appreciate it. It's good to have plenty of you here again. I really have been blown away the last couple of weeks just by the amount of people that are down in the chat that are getting involved in the conversation. It's been really great to see. But transfer deadline day, so far so good. Derek Bart in. Phil Richards, new contract. And it looks like no outs because the two big boys haven't had the offer. And with just an hour and a quarter to go now, I don't think it's going to be coming. So it looks like we've managed to do our job now. So let me know what you think of that window. A little bit strange. All of those big players that I wanted, but we never get an offer for them. And I don't understand why. It's going to make it hard to get rid of them in the summer, to be honest. Wage expenditure, look at that. That's the benefit of a homegrown challenge. 19th biggest wage bill in the league. And if we go to the biggest earners, that's after Phil Richards is getting 50 grand a week. I just want to put them in order of earners. So Vinicius, Xavier, Flauhaut and Balogun are 2nd, 3rd and 4th in the earners. So that shows you just how much they're taking out of the budget. Without that, it'd be one of the lowest in the league. And we've got a very big squad as well. You've got to bear that in mind. So Bournemouth next, then West Ham in the Cup replay. That probably will stop us getting to the Cup, to the Europa League tie. Because unfortunately, that's going to put an extra game in the works. We'll probably then have the actual Cup tie as well. So we might be stopping a bit earlier. So I might do the same as last time and play one game off camera. But if we need to, we'll do it. We're doing well, of course, in the Premier League. We're up to 9th place now. So let's just have a look at the table, actually. We're getting closer. We're on 35, just 5 points off 7th. Stoke's still up there in 5th, above Liverpool, City and Chelsea. So I know Carl will be happy with that one. And we're now 15 points clear of relegation, so we've not got to worry about that. We did sign that guy, Derek Barr, but because he's 17, he can't move abroad until he turns 18. So Derek Barr will be joining us in the summer. But yeah, he did agree to join the club. And the only other thing you missed, Phil Richards. Loads of clubs activated his release clause, which we didn't know he had. But then we managed to get him in. And he agreed a new deal. So yeah, that Milan keeper, it comes from the director of football, but we can't sign him. Phil Richards won 2nd for Player of the Month. 1st for the Young Player of the Month. Followed up by Lowry and Vimmer. Burnley powerhouses there. And we came 3rd in the Managerial Award. So lots of positives so far. So when I send a link on the comments after this live, I think you have to join it in the first hour. No problem. I'll keep an eye out for it and join straight away. And hopefully I'll catch it before YouTube put it in the held for review section. I think it's just anything with a link they put in there, to be honest. And obviously, providing that goes well for everyone watching, hopefully we'll have a Discord server up and running in the next month or two. Have you sold anyone or tried to sell anyone? So the only thing we were waiting for is offers for the big 3 who aren't homegrown at the club. The 3 that are left, which are Flauhaut, Balogun and Vinicius Xavier. The first 2 of those were wanted the whole way through the window, but no one put a bid in. So as it stands, the squad hasn't changed really. So Bournemouth next. A little bit slower getting through because of the transfer window. But we will get in at least Bournemouth and West Ham. And if we had to end it before the next one, we'll then play the other tie off camera. I think it's Bristol City in the league we've got. Who's that? He's 18 years old as well. Centre half. His birthday is 21st of June. So he joined on the 9th of June, which would be alright. So we're gonna scout him a little bit more because potentially he's a solution at centre half. And I'm not really a fan of Fabio, so I'd rather sell him. We'll wait and see if that's the case. Just one day away from Bournemouth now. Ruthven will still be on international duty. Leeds have overtaken us. They beat Everton. But otherwise, it's all looking quite safe down there. So we're quite happy with things. And we've just got to hope we can make it 4 wins from 4 in the Premier League. And as I say, I'd like to sell Fabio. He's shown pleasing promise now. But still just a good player for championship sides. So that's the thing you have to consider. We've got the Europa League 2 coming up soon as well. Or the Europa Conference as it will be called in real life. So there's plenty of things to come. And we've got an FA Cup tie in just 3 days. So we're going to have to bear that in mind with our squad selection as well. Whether we'll get the weekend off after, I don't know. I'm imagining that's where the cup tie will go. We could have a question section where I'll ask loads of questions for you to answer on stream. We should have a stream question section, actually. It's something that we could come up with beforehand. Let's have a look at the squad for today. Bartle is back in and back fit. Ross Marsh off the bench. Matas back on the bench. Who was the other one? Owen Edmonds will come back in. Dwight McNeil will go back onto the bench in place of Vinicius. And Ruthven's still away, so the other lad won't be changing yet. But that's the 11 for today. Let's go and see how we get on. Hopefully, it'll be another positive result. I'm starting Harrott again ahead of Richards just because of the contract situation. I know it's been a little bit of a problem over the last week. So Phil Richards, hopefully, will be able to come off the bench and prove a point. And then for midweek, we can start him again. And at the moment, he's the star player. And we need to get through in the FA Cup. So first half. But I won't be on, so you can answer it or watch the highlights. So yeah, I mean, for the live streams, as I've kind of said earlier on, I'd like to sort of adapt to doing a weekend one eventually. But with football coming back and live things as well, I've got to work out where it would fit. So it might well be that we go for a Sunday lunchtime or a Sunday morning or something like that, just to keep it ticking over. Because I'm aware now that most of the world's going back to work and back to school, and that means that some people don't have the luxury of a weekday off. For Saturdays, I'm ruled out because I'm going to be working Saturday mornings now. So it is what it is. Lowry's in. Good start from Leon Lowry. He is in a purple patch at the moment. Leon Lowry scores and we are ahead yet again. Absolutely flying is Leon Lowry. Brilliant to see, because with Balogun having to go in the summer, it's going to be a fantastic state for us. Good to see the average watch time is at its highest ever today for the live stream. So thank you all so much for that. Fingers crossed we'll be able to get another good result. We've been doing really well in the league games. And to be fair, when we've not been playing the top 7, bar that first 4 or 5 games of the season, we're getting back into form quite nicely. And I've forgotten to put Summerskill back in goal. Oh, no one was shouting at me. Grondona's in and he makes the save there. But I don't know if we're going to suffer for that. Grondona getting Premier League action, but I might be in trouble for not bringing Summerskill back in, who's ever reliable in the league. We've got a defensive throw-in. Harriet picks it up to Bonner. Plays a 1-2. We've actually been outplayed in this game. But we're coming out with the ball nicely here. And if we go over the top, we've got options. Vinicius Xavier picks it up. Finds Harriet. Dropping deep again. He's trying to keep his place in the team. He's been one of the best attacking players today. And Flauhaut goes all the way back to the keeper. Grondona out to left, back to Wimmer. Wimmer inside to Harriet. Over the top towards Edmonds. Back in from injury. Skins his fullback. Chance to cross from the byline. Lowry's there. Hits the bar. Vaughan on the rebound. And it is 2-0 Burnley. And that is what we want to see. When are we doing the National League prediction? So you'll be pleased to know Charlie's back as well. So it'll be all 3 of us. And we will probably be doing it the last week before the season. So based on the season at the moment, starting on the 3rd of October, we'll probably record it and release around the weekend before. So it'll probably be about a week before. But yeah, otherwise, that weekend, it will probably be the National League North and South. So we'll do the North and South first. A bit like we did with the EFL ones. We started with League 2 and built up. So we'll probably do the same. So just over a week before, we'll start with the National League North, South, and gradually go up. And then we'll go to the National League. Don't know what order North and South will be in. But National League will be last. And probably the Saturday or Sunday before the season. And we've got the Irish League around the same time as well. So we've got to pencil that in too. For Harbour picks it up on the left. Back for Bournemouth, who have still, arguably, had the lion's share of this game in terms of possession. Level on chances. They'll be unhappy that they're 2-0 down. They'll feel a little bit hard done by. For Harbour switches it right to James, though. He goes back. They're keeping it well, but they don't really look that threatening. I say, as they'll probably go and score now. But they seem more keen on keeping it and going back to the keeper than they do creating a chance. So that I'll be happy with. As Carlos gets it out to Zitek. Gives it away to Bonner. And Bonner inside. This is counter-attack time. Xavier up to Lowry. Skins his man. That is a brilliant bit of play. But a good save by Klassen. We're going to make some changes too. Bartle's back from injury. So we'll bring in Matas again. Harriet's had an okay game. In fact, we'll leave Harriet on. Phil Richards on for him. Phil Richards will come on for Xavier, sorry. And then, who will be the last one? Edmund's back from injury again, so McNeil in for him. 3 changes made. Let's hope we hold on for 2. That's the main thing today. So we've got this game, West Ham in the replay, and then we'll call it a day at that point. We'll play the 1 game in the league off camera and then come back for Red Star next week. Sigurdsson on left to Pickering. The last thing we want to do is create a grandstand finish here. Oh, it's the Rabona cross. Finds Dan James and his shot just wide. Probably should have scored from there, to be fair. At least hit the target. But as it is, it remains 2-0. They've got Malumbi in the middle. He made his Ireland debut in real life at the weekend. And is that Ben White at centre-half? Centre of the Brighton Leeds bidding war. As Gonsalves picks it up at the back again. Out to Zitek. Really good on the ball, Bournemouth. I mean, impressively good. They just haven't got that killer instinct. They haven't got the cutting edge. Malumbi puts it through. They'll probably go and score 2 now. Zitek brings it down on the left. And there was nearly one of them. Grondona makes a really good save in the end. And as a result, it remains 2-0. Thank you to everyone that's popping in again. Great to have so many of you here. Nearly 50 playbacks already and a very good average watch time. So please do put a thumbs up on it if you haven't already. And come and get involved in the chat. It's been really active this morning. Probably started off earlier than usual as well. So really good to have so many of you along. And I appreciate all your support with it. I've got to thank any of you that weren't here earlier for your support with the Cliftonville save as well. It has gone absolutely mad on the first 2 episodes. If you haven't yet, please do go and check it out. I've really enjoyed it so far. And it will be back today at 4:30 for episode 3. Which is our first domestic game. The first league game of the season. And it's against Ballymena. Which will become eventful as the season goes on. We're in stoppage time here. We have managed to hold on for a 2-0 lead. Despite being largely the worst side. And Vaughan knocks it down. Oh, it's in for 3. How on earth has that feeble header from the edge of the box gone in? I don't quite know the answer to that. But Jack Vaughan's in a purple patch now as well. And it's since we moved him back into that unfamiliar right midfield position. When he was playing on his natural wing, he couldn't handle it. But right midfield, he's the superstar. So 3-0 to Burnley, a brilliant result. And in the league, we are threatening to have a good spell again. We're up to 8th place, 5 points off City, 6 points off Stoke. And they're the teams we've got to be chasing now. Jack Vaughan will go and praise off camera. He's done a really good job. And we're now 7 unbeaten in the league. The first 3 were draws, including Liverpool and City. And now 4 wins in a row. So let's go through the press conference. We've got West Ham in 3 days' time. And that could be the perfect way to finish the morning with FA Cup success. That's it. There's people from different countries in the comments for a save from Northern Ireland, which is really niche. And that's the thing that I found most amazing. Having people come in and say, hi, I'm from Turkey. Having views from Finland, Norway, Hungary I had a few from as well. It was just, that was the bit for me, which is really humbling. I enjoy that so much. I've made a concerted effort in the videos to talk a little bit slower. To talk a little bit more clearly where possible. Just to try and help out people. When I'm in the commentaries, I get too excited. I get carried away. When I'm talking about what's happened off the pitch, the club, introducing players, I try to talk bearing in mind. It never even occurred to me to think there might be people outside of the UK watching this. To have international audiences is incredible. I've almost forgot. Kieran Slicker has come back from loan. I mean, we can probably sell him. We don't need him at the club. We've Grondona in as well. 2's enough. And we can't register him for some reason. So we're going to skip through. So if we respond, we'll confirm the squad. And I'm sure we'll have our press conference now for West Ham. There it is. I'd imagine in the home leg, the replay, we'd probably be slight favourites. But we might have to rest a few. But yeah, if you are from another country, I mean, we've got Dutch natives in the stream. We've got Turkish comments in the first Cliftonville episode. We're getting lots of views from Scandinavia. It's incredible. Has your Luton shirt arrived yet? Not yet. The away shirts, I don't think they're in stock yet. Let me have a look on the Luton website. I haven't seen an update about them. So I don't think so. Let's have a look. No, doesn't seem to be any news of it yet. So I'd imagine it'll still be a little while. But I am looking forward to that away shirt. You know me very well. I'm not a football shirt man, but that one got me. Grondona's ill, so I'll have no choice but to remember to take him out next time. Even though he probably would have played the cup game anyway. And we've got to keep an eye on those other sides in the Premier League contention too. What's your prediction for the third England-Aussie game today? Not sure. I think there'll be a couple of changes. I'm not sure. As much as I like them, I'm not sure that Bairstow will be in that team long term. He's really struggled a bit recently, and the way he got out on Sunday is not going to help him. I would put Banton back at the top of the order for now, but I think Roy will end up coming back in for him. But then when you've got an injury or you want to rest players, you're always resting someone in a T20. So to be able to bring the others in is great. But yeah, I think England might still nick it, but depends how many they rest. Particularly for those who played in the test team as well, they might give those a game off. Now they've won the series, so let me know. And obviously it's back on Sky, so I can't watch it, unfortunately. And the number 10 role, Phil Richards back in. We'll go to our strongest 11 here, I think. Is there anyone else that we wouldn't normally play? No. Bartle's on a yellow, so we might bring Matas in. One change, and otherwise it's the first 11. So let's get into it, the FA Cup replay, and we'll take it as seriously as we can. No Joss. I didn't know that. So then at the top of the order, I would have Banton opening alongside Bairstow then. And then the rest will be pretty much as it was. Will Billings maybe come back in? Because he did well in the Pakistan series. So I'd be interested. Maybe it'll be Billings who comes back in. Don't know. Be interesting to see though. Whoppers, I really enjoy watching other people get as excited about Football Manager as myself about a Football Manager game. There's not many Dutch people playing it, but I prefer English anyways. It's nice to hear. It really is. I mean, I get carried away when I'm watching the games. For me, I've always noticed on here that the British saves or the UK-based saves get a lot more views. When I went to Germany for Gladbach in the head coach, it very quickly dried up. Then it returned when you went to Chelsea. So it's definitely a problem with the YouTube view because a lot of it's sort of US and Australia and those sorts of countries based. I mean, the US views probably makes up about a quarter. And for that, you're sort of talking about people who probably only really follow the Premier League or the MLS. They don't follow all of the other leagues that aren't as widely rated. And that's the commercial view of the Premier League, isn't it? But for me, I'd love, if I got the head coach series and I got offered a job at Ajax or at Groningen or at Willem, you know, I'd love to go and manage a side in the Dutch league. As we've gone behind to West Ham here, we're in a little spot of bother. But yeah, I'd love to go and manage over in Holland. So hopefully I'll get the opportunity. Yeah, Billings did well. The T20s normally start at 2 or quarter past, I think. Don't hold me to it, but I think they always start at that time. Unless they're doing the day-night ones, of course. So, we have reached half-time, and we are behind with our first team in the FA Cup. Now, I'm wondering if the squad getting a lower cup bonus is going to be a problem here. Matas has been actually really poor, so I'm going to bring Bartle on for him. And more worryingly, Phil Richards looks in poor form today. I just wonder if we need to go attacking, perhaps. We will do if we get past the hour mark without a shout, but there's another chance for West Ham. And if headed just over the bar, they look so strong from set pieces. Really have got the ability there. Yeah, I can't watch the England football match either, because that's on Sky Sports. It's the problem with the Nations League, unfortunately. So let's go attacking. Let's go and throw everything forward here. Run at the defence, be more expressive. What else can we do? Distribute quickly, yes, and move further forward. There we go. The experienced Tielemans still on the bench for West Ham, and with 20 left, they're still on the front foot. We're going to ask for some passion. We just cannot get going here. Golovin back to Chilwell, who's covering a centre-half by the looks. Out to Di Piero, who scored the goal. To Golovin, and they're keeping it nicely. Again, a bit like Bournemouth, keeping the ball well, but don't look like scoring hugely. Bar set pieces for this lot. Vasquez, the keeper, gets it back, and they clear long downfield. But I don't know that we're going to get a result out of this. Jack Vaughan's really struggling physically, so I might have to make that change. But this highlight's going on forever, and that scares me as well. Rice at centre-half, to Glover at the right-back. To Glover, sorry. Don't know where I got that name from. Lie in the middle. Switch of play to Di Piero. Not really going anywhere. Di Piero picks it up into the middle of the box to Glover, and that could have been tie over, and Di Piero, the scorer's come off. So, let me go to the tactics screen, because I'm going to put Lowry over on the right wing. He will be an inside forward on attack. Balogun will come on up front. He'll replace Jack Vaughan, who's knackered. And in midfield, Vinicius Xavier will be replaced by Richards, who will drop in. And then in attacking midfield, it will be... Let's go for Mullen, because Harrott's had a couple of poor games. And let's see if we can get into it. Yeah, Iceland's pen was ridiculously bad. Yeah, it wasn't a good penalty at all. And to be fair, I don't really enjoy the Nations League. I can see it's brilliant for the smaller nations, but for England, it's not a massive thing here. And what highlights package do you use on FM? For the video series, this year I used Key. Last year I used Extended. But last year I did a lot of single headers. This year I did double headers with Key. And it seemed to get better watch time on the videos. So I think it's fair to say that people prefer more of the off-the-pitch updates and things. And don't really want to see 2-minute highlights. So I've always gone for Key highlights since in FM20. And it's helped the watch time on the videos. We've got 2 minutes of stoppage time to go. And West Ham are still on the front foot. So I think, unfortunately, we're going to end with cup disappointment. And I just want to win a trophy, which is making it hard. We got embarrassed in the Carabao Cup. Yes, we're still doing well in the Premier League, but we can't get it going in the Cup. So after a brilliant morning, 4 league wins, the draw at home to West Ham, the draw away to West Ham, in the first tie here, we're going to end up with disappointment of going out of the FA Cup. We've got the Europa League 2 still to win, as West Ham wrap it up in the 92nd. We had men committing forward, and they didn't manage to do it. I did respond to your Saka comment. I said, give Arteta a season with the young players. I don't know that he'll fly completely this season. I said, but hopefully he'll get there a little bit later. If you can take one more season with Arsenal, even if you can win a Carabao Cup or something, the season after, Arsenal will be sensational because the likes of Nelson and Willock and Saka, Maitland-Niles now looks like he's staying, and some of the other younger boys, the 2 young centre-halves that are coming in, they will hopefully be able to take you to the next level. And can I check, has that Gabriel deal been confirmed? Because I haven't seen anything to suggest it has. I'm pretty sure Saka will make the Euro squad. Yeah, I agree. Particularly as the other young lads don't seem to have their behaviour in order, let's say. I didn't see my one by the Billings one. When you join Discord, if I'm watching, I'll let you know if wickets happen and what they scored. Oh, yes, sorry, I've missed that message completely. Yeah, that's the thing. That's sort of what I wanted the Discord more for, just to chat about football and cricket, because we're not going to be able to stream all the time. And it just enables me to keep the community active, because that's ideally when we'd like to talk. So it can almost be like an extra live stream as such. I'm annoyed I have school when the live videos will be on. They made my Tuesday too, so I'm not happy with that. Yeah, unfortunately, it's my only day off work, so I don't really have a choice with it. But for school, it's far more important, honestly. It's the most important thing at the moment. You'll get so much out of it this year. So what we're going to do, we've got the bottom team, Bristol City, which will play off camera. And then we'll be back for the Red Star game, which is the Europa League 2. Yeah, he is confirmed in. So Gabriel, Luis, Saliba back 3. I mean, with Mustafi being out, yes, because he would have been in my 3. I think if he hasn't gone already, Socrates will. Holding looks like he's on his way. And obviously you've got the likes of Tierney who can slot in. How have Gabriel and Saliba developed in your Burnley save? I'll go and have a quick look, actually. Arteta has full-back in. You say that, but it only takes a month for a couple of people to get annoyed, doesn't it? Let's have a look then. Saliba, he is at Eintracht Frankfurt. He is 29. He's very good, but he's not exceptional. Frankfurt are a Europa League level team, so he's playing Europa League football. But I think he became world class in one of my other saves. And then the other one is Gabriel. I think, is he a little bit older? I think he might be a little bit older, isn't he? I don't think that's him. That's a completely different name, just in case, but no. So I can't see Gabriel in now. I think he might be a little older. Also, I meant the first date of the Discord link. So as soon as the stream ends, I'll send it to you. Do you want me to send the link of the message? Oh no, so I know the link's to Discord. It's just me catching it before it goes into the review. So don't worry about that. I'll try and make it as easy as possible. You've done me a favour already. Let's have a look at Wrexham. They are in a League 2 relegation battle. Last year they were in the playoffs and they've started sinking this year. They're one level on points with Leyton Orient and 1 point ahead behind Fleetwood, who are our feeder club. But yeah, after 3 good League 2 seasons, they're dropping back down now, which is a little bit of a concern for them. But as it is, we're going to go and play the Bristol City game off camera. Thank you so much to everyone getting involved in the chat this morning. Unfortunately, Tom, sorry, I think Gabriel has retired on here. But we haven't got as many leagues loaded, so it might be that he's moved elsewhere and we can't see it. But we've got all the big European ones there, so he's definitely not in them. If you... Gabriel Magalhaes, I think his name is. Let me just double check before we go. Gabriel Mag... Doesn't look like it. No, he's not in there. He's not in there at all. But thank you so much to everyone for your support this morning. I'm glad those of you who were involved were so lively in the chat. Great to have such good watch time, so many viewers in. If you haven't yet, please do chuck a thumbs up on the video. I can confirm it was difficult to try and pronounce, and I'm sure I got it wrong. But thank you so much for all of you coming along this morning. Full replays available if you missed any of it. Joe Gaming, thanks for coming along and saying hello. Do appreciate it. There's a full replay on the channel straight after the stream. And thanks for coming along. I'll see you next week. And we'll talk about live streams for the future as well. Thanks for your support. And I'll see you next time.